been through hell together. We spent 4 years, 4 years, fighting that virus, and then another 4 fighting each other. It was chaos. But you all know what we're up against.
I think in the movie there's such a message between the importance of communicating between animals and just our connection with nature and animals. Yeah. Do you guys think that's an important message that's shown throughout the movie?
Absolutely. I think Matt very deliberately chose to set this film where the apes are working out how they're going to communicate. You know, they got the sign, and then they're, you know, and they're at the point where they have decided to use speech or to bring it in. They've written up there, and they, you know, it's at that juncture once you know you can write and speak. You know, things start to grow very quickly from that. I mean, you know, historically, that's when we discovered paper and all that. We were able to, you know, things move faster. And it's a big choice about how you go about it. You know, Caesar's, he's an ape, but he's got a lot of human in him. He spent a lot of time with him. You know, there's a lot of conflict with him, how he's going to educate his children and his community. And we're at the point where we're actually, as a community of humans, starting to communicate in terms of we possibly have a future to build with it. We're not just fighting and struggling. We're at a point of, you know, okay, we can expand a little here. And we're timidly doing that.
So what's cool about you playing Caesar this time, it's 10 years later, he's developed more speaking. How was it developing into a different, more advanced Caesar?
It was a real challenge, you know. I mean, it was hard. It was hard enough playing him from sort of infancy through teenage and then seeing him as this young rebel. But actually, I think the complications of being an older, supposedly wiser leader and the responsibility that he has and the complex nature of having to deal with a different group of apes, chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and making them all come together. And then also when the humans arrive and the conflict is about to escalate, there were so many more challenges, and plus he has now a family. He's a father figure. He has an adolescent son who's challenging, and you know, so there are many layers, and therefore it was a much greater challenge, I think.
I need to speak to Caesar.
As an actor, you have so many challenges because obviously you're not an ape in real life, so wearing all the stuff and really having to connect with the soul of who Caesar is. How do you do that so that it translates so well before the CGI?
It's acting. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you do. You use your imagination to bury yourself in a character, to create a psychology and a physicality and an emotional center, and you know, and with this one, there's an evolution as well, a physical evolution. So I had to bear that in mind. I mean, the way Caesar uses his hands, the way that his facial expressions work, are becoming more and more human-like, and the way he has to engage with language and so on.
As a director, there is that element of surprise when all the post is done and you see it. What's your reaction to seeing Andy and seeing Toby and seeing these seeing everything in full circle?
It's so cool. The crazy thing about it is you watch everything as you're doing it, and we've been working on this for 2 years. We've been post for the last year, and you don't actually get to see, it takes so long to do one ape shot that you don't actually see it till very late in the process. And I would say that literally in the last 2 months is when we got the lion's share of all the finals on the shots. And so there was one night, literally about 4 nights ago, where I went into the theater at Fox and looked on the big screen in 3D so that I could make sure that the color wasn't too dark and this and that. And it was actually the first time that I'd gotten to see the movie, not shot by shot, but all together in 3D. And I suddenly had this, my mind was blown, because I was like, you know, we took these 3D cameras and shot in really difficult circumstances, like trying to make sure everything was as real as possible, shot in the woods, in the rain, and you don't know what it's really going to look like ultimately. Yeah. And when I saw it, I was kind of blown away. I was like, oh, the best version of this movie is in 3D. It's the most realistic version of the movie. It's like you see the apes and they're actually dimensional next to the humans, so they have to be real. And my mind was blown. It was really exciting to finally see all of that work come together. And there are 1,000 visual artists who are working on this movie, who've just finished working on the movie. And to see their work come together and to watch it is really mind-blowing.
You know, it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world, and you were a leader. Would you guys trust him in real life if he was the one that was really in charge?
Yeah, I would. I'd follow Gary anywhere. Yeah.
You think you'd take charge?
I mean,
if I had to, I think we all in this compound, the community. I mean, we've all now we come with all our baggage and all our sort of history. We're all wounded and have lost something. I think if your back is against the wall, yeah. I think we can do we're capable of doing extraordinary things. Yeah.
And I want you to know, it's not just about power, it's about giving us the hope to rebuild and reclaim the world we lost.